my beauties. Welcome to day 4 of your free training, 5 days of total body turn on. This has been such a pleasure. We are almost to the finish line. So far, we have discussed how to reconnect with your body. We've discussed pleasure. We've discussed desires, which brings me to our next subject, which is how to reclaim yourself as a sexual being. Now, this is one of my favorite subjects because I'm a believer that our sexual wholeness allows us to show up fully in our lives in a way that is magnetic, in a way that is alive and vibrant, and of course, super orgasmic. Yes. And there's a reason why I decided to start with, in my opinion, the basics. Even though it might be a little difficult to start the journey of connecting with your body because you haven't connected with your body in a really long time, or if ever, or understanding what pleasure is, or understanding what you actually desire. To me, those are the basics of understanding what you can create sexually, what you can create sexually in your body, what you can create sexually around your pleasures, around your what feels good to you, and also what you can create sexually through your desires. Those things you must understand on the most simplistic basis in order to translate that to sexuality. So today we're going to talk all about how to reclaim yourself as a sexual being. We are going to explore your sexual needs. We're going to connect to your sensual and playful self. We're also going to talk about opening your heart to new sexual experiences. And then there's one thing that I feel like I completely forgot to share with you or to put on this list. And it kind of goes back to connecting with your body, but understanding how your body works. For the women out there, understanding, the anatomy of your sexual pleasure. So for example, understanding the vulva and understanding that there's the outer lips and the inner lips and the clitoris and the hood of the clitoris, and then the fact that the clitoris is not just that cute little button in between your outer and inner lips, but that little button also is called, it connects to the clitoral bulb, which allows you to feel orgasms throughout your entire body, or allows you to have vaginal orgasms, or allows you, a lot of women, or not women, allows a lot of women to experience G-spot orgasms, to understand how your womb works, your cervix, or the energy of your cervix, or the energy of your womb. If you no longer have a womb or a cervix, that you can still have energetic orgasms from your cervix, or you can still have energetic orgasms in your womb, that these things are possible. So to me, it really begins with the basics of understanding your body, of understanding the anatomy of your body. One of my favorite books that really kind of breaks down the female anatomy is Women's Anatomy, the Women's Pleasure of Anatomy. I'll put it in the or Women's Anatomy of Pleasure. I'm so sorry. I'll put a link to the book in the comment section, so don't you worry. You will get the information you need to buy this book. But it is such a beautiful and potent book because it really lays out the anatomy of the female genitalia. It shows you all the juicy bits from, again, the inner and outer labia to the clitoris, to the vaginal canal, the cervix, the urethra sponge, which allows you to squirt if that is something that you've always been interested in and not sure how it works, or maybe it's happened to you several times and you're like, why, like, how is this happening? Why is this happening? What is this? It really goes deep into yes, how everything works and how it is connected to your pleasure, to your sexual and your sensual pleasure. Now, one of my favorite things to mention about the clitoris is that there are 8,000 nerve endings. What? Yes, 8,000 nerve endings. 8,000 nerve endings that are just dedicated to pleasure. Those 8,000 nerve endings have nothing to do with reproduction. It has nothing to do with, you know, the vulva, or like it, well, it has to do with the vulva, but like it has nothing to do with like the actual functionality of your vulva or your vagina or your cervix. It is literally just for pleasure. I mean, come on. So if you weren't born a sexual being to experience pleasure, I don't know, I don't know what else, like, it would be for, to be completely honest. So it's so amazing to me. So when I found that out, it really kind of transformed the way I saw this part of my body, a part of my body that I had been taught to hide, to shame, to not name. Like, I mean, think about what you used to call your vulva or your vagina or your pussy, whatever you choose to call it. I choose to use the word pussy because it's like it represents the whole anatomy for female genitalia, and so yeah, think about like the fact that they're like cute nicknames. You never called it a vulva. And the vagina is not the correct term for the vulva. The vagina is the inside, the canal that leads from the entrance of your vulva all the way to the cervix into your womb. And so, yeah, it's amazing to think about this part of us that is so deeply important, so deeply a part of us, and yet we are taught to ignore it. We are taught to put perfumes and like things on it that it does not belong, because it's like, oh, it smells, or oh, like it's it needs to be shaved, or I like hair, and it's never from like your personal preference. It's always from the outside in, telling you how to be how to experience this most beautiful and like amazing part of who you are. So as you reclaim yourself as a sexual being, as you come into this understanding of yourself as a sexual being, I invite you to, one, really get to know your anatomy, understand it, and not just from a book. I invite you to buy a mirror, buy a hand mirror, and one night, one day, one afternoon, when you have some time, when you have some alone time, to look at it, to explore it, to revel in awness of its amazing sacredness. It's truly a super sacred part of you, a part of you that is so powerful, um, like on so many levels. And so get to know yourself, get to know this very important part of yourself. I cannot reiterate that enough. Like, truly, 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 if you get nothing else out of this training, out of all these videos, I invite you to get to know this part of yourself. Okay, so the next part is to explore your sexual needs. This is another part that we have a tendency to ignore, or to kind of go with the flow, especially with like a new partner or a new lover. We have a tendency to have sex the way that they might like or enjoy, or allow them to have sex with you in a way that they used to have sex with their other partner, and not realizing like what it feels good to you, what feels amazing to you. They might not be aware of that. So you, my friend, have to understand what feels good to you and your body. That means that you really have to take the time to deeply connect to your body. You have to take the time to turn yourself on. You have to take the time to explore like the different touches. Like, does this stroke feel too soft, or is it too strong, or if it does it like, do you like firm, or do you like really, you know, like tight squeezes? Are you more like sensual, or do you like a fluctuation of both? How do you like how do you like to be stroked? How do you like to be touched? How do you like to be kissed? These are all things you have to explore for yourself, so you can show your partner, because your partner doesn't know. Like, they just don't. They're going to bring their sexual experiences to the bedroom, and they're going to do what they know. And they're going to guess that you like it because, in their heads, possibly, sexual experiences are all the same. For example, you might realize as you explore your sexual needs that you don't like penetration. It might not be your thing. This doesn't mean that you won't do it, because it might be something that your partner really enjoys, and so you'll come to an understanding, a communication of like, okay, these are my sexual needs, this is what I enjoy, this is what turns me on, these are like theirs, and we can come to this beautiful union and understanding where we can have a beautiful conversation and communication around what feels good to the both of us, so we both feel fulfilled, we feel seen, we feel witnessed in our desires. But my friend, it is your responsibility first and foremost, before you bring it into even a long-term relationship. Even if you come to this aha moment of like, oh my gosh, I've been with this person for so long, and like, I don't like the way that we have intimacy, the way we have sex, and that is okay. You can come to that aha moment. You can figure out what feels good to you. You can figure out what needs need to be met in order for you to feel full, like a full sexual goddess, queen, what have you, in the bedroom, and communicate it with a lot of love, a lot of compassion, and understanding. Because it might come to a shock, especially if you come to them as a shock if you've been with this person for a really long time. But that's okay. That is completely okay. It's all about the delivery. But first, you have to understand what it is you want, what it is you need, what it is you desire. Next, we're going to talk about connecting to your sensual and playful self. So, I'm huge on sensuality. I love the sensual. To me, like, breathing is sensual. To me, like, getting dressed for the day can be sensual. For me, like, eating a strawberry and enjoying it can be highly sensual. And for me, the sensual is has a lot to do with the senses. Like, I am so, like, I love the senses, and that includes your sight, your sound, your smell, your taste, what you feel, to the touch and on the inside. To me, understanding the senses, what arouses your senses, it can be a game changer for you. So for me, for example, like, what turns me on, like what makes me feel good in my body, is like beauty. And I'm talking about like just beautiful spaces with flowers, with like the house being clean. It like just makes me feel so happy with candles and colors in the all different parts of our rooms. As you can see, like these pillows. Ah, like I just love beauties and color and just gorgeous objects that evoke like some kind of emotion inside of me that just feels like, oh yes. And I also like the smell of perfume or the smell of sage in the house or the smell of like when you open up the window and there's fresh air coming through. Oh, it smells so good. Or like the taste of like a delicious meal or delicious dessert. I am a fiend for ice cream, so delicious ice cream. Oh, just love it. I love music. Like music is my jam. It just turns me like up and I get so excited. It creates such a vibrant energy inside of me. So like just hearing just really amazing music that I can connect with on like a body level, oh, feels so good. And then just like like the feeling, oils on my hands when I get out of the shower and I'm getting ready for bed or for my day. Textures like this beautiful pillow over here feels really good. So indulging into my sensual self, the senses and my the five senses that bring me so much joy, and indulging in those five senses. And then also, what else did I write? Being playful with it. Like, I know, especially when you're at the beginning of this journey, it can just feel like, oh, there's so much coming up, especially if you have experienced trauma in the past and there's things that you need to heal. If you're healing shame or guilt around your sexuality and your sexual expression, I understand that this can feel uh, like a journey. It can feel like a heavy, like long journey. But I invite you to bring some playfulness in it. I invite you to bring a sense of like wonder and awe to this process, and know that you don't have to get it right. It does not have to look like like my process doesn't have to look like anyone else's process. I know there's so many amazing teachers and healers out there teaching this stuff and supporting and facilitating other people's healing process. But I want you to know that it doesn't have to look like their process. It doesn't have to look like their journey. It might look, they might make it look so easy, so glamorous. But to be honest with you, that is just a byproduct of a lot of work, a lot of releasing. But you can make it look like, you can make it fun, you can make it playful, you can tap into like your silly self, you can tap into the part of you that feels um you want to return to an innocent part of who you are. Like it can be, explorative, it can be exciting, it can be interesting, it can be like, let's see what happens today. That is bringing play to it, that's bringing awe to this process, and that can make you feel so much ease in your body and so much ease in your soul that you can just take it as it comes and you can make it fun. You make this whole process fun. And then lastly, we'll talk about opening your heart to sexual possibilities. And a lot of this has to do with um, just exploring, asking questions. What do I like? What don't I like? A lot of this has to do with trying something new. It could be something as simple as like a fun play date where you like dress up and you wear something that you would never usually wear, or you wear like a wig and you just have fun with it and go on a date with your partner. Or you can even take yourself out on a date and then come home and like woo and take take advantage of yourself and see where it takes you and see what feels good and see what doesn't, and just try new things. Just try it, and you can take what feels good, you can leave the rest. You might try something and be like, never again. You might try something like, oh, I never thought I'd be interested in this, and that can look like so many different things. It can be from the pure, like, oh, I'm gonna try a new stroke on my skin tonight, to I want to try a new position with my partner and see how it goes. It's all about opening up to the new possibilities of what could feel good and what you can experience in the bedroom or even outside the bedroom, and see where it takes you. So much good stuff. I could talk forever about this, and I I hope that some of the things that I spoke about resonated with you and supports you as you start to reclaim yourself as a sexual being. And I just can't wait to see where this journey takes you. All right. So much love to you. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And the next video, which will come out on Monday, will be all about how to live a turned on life. Until then, stay safe and sending you so much love.